Welcome back to the Maelstrom, ladies and gentlemen. We have another Warhammer 40k game for you today. We are starting off 8th edition. We're going to be playing 135 power level, Necrons versus Thousand Suns. We're playing only war to get things started. The Thousand Suns will be on this side of the table. They are the underdogs. The Necrons will be on the opposite side of the table. And we rolled up Ancient Relic. So one of these four objectives will become the real one later on in the game and be worth 6 points. We've got one in the trench, one in the rocks down here, another next to the pipelines here, and the fourth one down here in the rocks. So that's the table. We will be right back with army lists. First up, we have the Thousand Suns.
Okay, so my first detachment is a spearhead detachment being led by Demon Prince Zinch, and his compulsory heavy supports are 2 Forge Fiends with Gatling guns and a squad of 3 Obliterators. Then for my second detachment, I have a battalion that is being led by Armin with 2 Exalted Sorcerers on foot. And then I have a squad of 5 Scarab Occult. They have all their upgrades. Then I have a squad of 5 Spawn. Then I have 2 squads of 10 Zangors, 2 squads of 9 Rubrics, and 2 Rhinos.
Next up, we have the forces of the Necrons. They are in 1 battalion detachment. First off, we have our HQs. We have an Overlord with a War Scythe, and we have a Luminor Xeris. For our troops, we have 2 squads of 20 Warriors and 2 squads of 10 Immortals with Gauss Blasters. In the Elite slot, we have 5 Lich Guard with Hyperphase Swords and Dispersion Shields. For the fast attack, we have a squad of 3 Destroyers. And then in the heavy support slot, we have 3 Heavy Destroyers, a Monolith, and a Catan. And then in our flyer slot, we have 1 Night Scythe. Didn't miss 1 Elite. We also have 10 Death Marks, making up part of the Elite choice. So you have seen the armies and you have seen the table. We will be back as we get stuck into the Maelstrom. Alright, the armies are deployed. First turn will go to the Necrons. Thousand Suns decided to give it to them. For deployment, the Thousand Suns put 1 squad on the flank and the other in the middle of their Rubric Marines. Zangors went here in the middle and another on the right flank, along with the Demon Prince and both Forge Fiends. Armin is down here, and the first Sorcerer is in the open with the Spawn. The second Sorcerer is here in the Rhino. Necrons went for a Phalanx deployment. Everything went together here in the rocks. Both squads of Warriors, both squads of Immortals, both Leaders, and the Destroyers deployed there, along with the Catan. And in the corner, we have the Night Scythe. The Monolith is set up to Deep Strike, and the Lich Guard, the Death Marks, and the Heavy Destroyers will be coming in later in the game. So the Necrons have the first turn, and we will be back. Alright, one thing we do need to do before we get started is determine which objective we're going to be playing for. So we'll be re-rolling 5s and 6s. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 for our objectives. The objective will be Objective 3, so we'll be fighting over the pipeline here. We'll be back after the Necrons take turn 1. Necron turn 1 rolls to an end with a general advance. The Monolith did come in down here from Deep Strike, and the Heavy Destroyers came in through the Night Scythe. Heavy Destroyers moved up and started things off. They fired here and destroyed the Rhino, killing 3 Rubrics in the process. Then shooting from these Warriors, fired up into the Rubrics, brought down a couple more, and the last one dead died to morale. 3 of the Zangors were cut down by Tesla Destructors from the Night Scythe. Down here, we didn't mark them, but 2 of the Spawn were slain. Between the Destroyers firing, they did take my Will Be Done from the Overlord. Between their shots and this block of Warriors, we were able to cut down 2 of the Spawn. And then the Monolith fired his guns, all of them, into the Forge Fiend, left him with 5 wounds, so punched 7 out of him. Tom's arrow from the Catan missed. He fired it here and was unable to score a hit. Or I say missed, didn't roll high enough to win. And in morale, the only casualty was 1 more Rubric. So that is the bottom of turn 1 coming up. Thousand Sun response up next. Thousand Suns turn 1 rolls to an end. General advance, Obliterators and Terminators did come in the backfield. In response, we ethereally intercepted them with the Death Marks, fired and put 1 mortal wound on the Terminators, but did no other damage. In the shooting phase, the Terminators were able to bring down 1 of the 3 Destroyers. and one of the warriors up front was cut down by fire from the backfield. The Forge Fiends and psychic powers from all of the sorcerers were able to put 11 damage points in this, including a melee from the Spawn, the Demon Prince, and the Zangors. Zangors unfortunately ran right to the door, knocked on it. We opened for them, and 6 of them ran through the black hole before they realized what happened. Portal of Exile killed 6 of them. The Forge Fiends, like I said, did a ton of damage there. One of them did. The other one whiffed pretty heavily. Sad part, though, in the Psychic phase, Armin and the other Sorcerer failed their check for Smite and Perils, and both of them took 2 wounds, 2 mortal wounds. Down here, Smite and the shooting from these 3 Marines managed to put 2 damage points in the Night Scythe. So that's where we are at as we close up turn 1, beginning turn 2 for the Necrons. Necrons have wrapped their turn up, and with that, the Thousand Sons are going to go ahead and call it. Took some significant casualties that turn. Spawn were all but cut down through the Immortals firing across the pipes at them. 2 of them were slain from that, and the Lich Guard came in through the Monolith this turn. They moved over here and in the assault phase cut the final Spawn down, consolidated away. The Death Marks moved through the gap, fired on the Demon Prince who was standing here, put 6 mortal wounds on him, and then the last 2 wounds were felled through synaptic disintegrator wounds that were left over. The Monolith and the Warrior block managed to finish off this damaged Forge Fiend. The Heavy Destroyers moved up. The 3 of them fired. 2 of them managed to get damage through and put 10 wounds on this Forge Fiend, all but killed him. The Tesla Destructors were unable to do anything from there. The Warriors on this end moved up. They hosed down all the Zangors and cut all of them out. So at that point, there's very little left. Back here, the Terminators were cut down to 2 men from fire between the Immortals and the Destroyers on the rooftop. The Immortal who was cut down did reanimate. The 2 squads then were able to kill off all but 2 Terminators. One's wounded, one is dead, or one is full. The rest are dead. The Catan moved up, fired Time's Arrow, and slew an Obliterator. He was going to go into there in the melee. We forgot about that, but not a big deal at this point because we're calling it at that point. So that is a victory for the Necrons for our inaugural 8th edition game. Give us a like on Facebook, a subscription on YouTube. I'm sure our lists will evolve as we are learning this new edition along with you guys. As always, thank you for spending time with us today at the Maelstrom.